6 types of people you should never save. Protect your energy and peace. What if the people you're trying to help are actually draining the life out of you? You've given everything, but nothing changes. The truth is, some people aren't meant to be saved. They're just holding you back. What if walking away is the only way to protect your peace? Welcome to Pure Stoic Practice, where we share knowledge and personal growth strategies through the lens of Stoic wisdom. Hello, everyone. If you're looking to learn new lessons that will help you grow and protect your inner peace, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you can stay up to date with our latest videos. The wisdom of Stoicism and the need for boundaries. Have you ever found yourself drained by someone's constant demands, only to realize that no matter how much you give, it's never enough? What if I told you that some people will only drain you further, leaving you empty while they remain stuck in their toxic patterns? This isn't just about setting boundaries, it's about reclaiming your energy and your peace. The truth is, helping others isn't always the kindest thing you can do, especially when it means enabling their inability to change. But how do you know when to walk away and protect yourself from these energy vampires? Today, we're diving into the 6 types of people you should never try to save. People who will drain you, emotionally and mentally, no matter how much you sacrifice. This is the kind of wisdom Stoic philosophy offers us. Understanding where we can make a difference, and knowing when to step back. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to step away, even when it feels hard. We live in a world that often pushes us to be endlessly kind, always giving, always sacrificing for others. But there's a powerful Stoic lesson that teaches us something very different. We cannot control others, but we can control how we respond to them. When it comes to relationships, whether personal or professional, the hardest, yet most important thing we can do is recognize when we're not just helping, but enabling. By continually giving to those who refuse to help themselves, we end up carrying a burden that isn't ours to bear. And in the process, we lose our energy, our peace, and even our sense of self. So who are these people who will drain you? The first type is the chronically lazy. These are individuals who are always telling you about their struggles, about how hard life is. But when you take a closer look, you see that they're not actually doing anything to change their situation. They're stuck in a never-ending loop of self-pity, offering excuses instead of solutions. It's easy to feel sorry for them, to want to help. But the truth is, by constantly stepping in, you're only enabling their laziness. Helping them doesn't push them to change. It simply gives them permission to stay exactly where they are. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot make someone change if they're not willing to help themselves. The more we give, the more they take, and in the end, they remain stagnant, while we burn out. Next, we have the ungrateful. These people are the ones who will take everything you offer and never show gratitude. No matter how much you sacrifice, it's never enough. When you run out of resources, be it time, energy, or love, they'll turn on you, accusing you of not doing enough, of not caring enough. It's like pouring water into a glass with no bottom. It never fills. These people won't appreciate what you've done, and they certainly won't respect your boundaries. They expect more and more, and when you say no, they make you feel guilty, like you're the one in the wrong. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true kindness is about knowing when to stop giving. about understanding that your kindness isn't a transaction and it shouldn't be taken for granted. By walking away, you're not being selfish, you're protecting your peace and teaching them that respect must be earned, not demanded. Then there's the arrogant, the person who believes they know it all. They reject your help because, in their eyes, they're always right. They don't want your advice. They want validation. It's frustrating to watch, isn't it? You see the path they should take, and yet they resist it, rejecting your guidance at every turn. They'd rather stay stuck in their own limited worldview than admit they don't have all the answers. The Stoics teach us that there's no point in wasting our time trying to convince someone who isn't ready to listen. It's a never-ending cycle of resistance that leads only to frustration on your part. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is stop trying to change their mind and let them fall. Only then will they realize the truth you were trying to show them. But by that point, it will be too late to help. Moving on, we come to the manipulators. These people are dangerous in a different way. They don't use brute force. Instead, they play on your emotions, manipulating your kindness to get what they want. They cry. They beg. They make you feel like the hero of their story. But the reality is, they don't want your help. They want control. They'll make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, twisting your words, and using your sympathy against you. The more you give, the more they take, and you find yourself caught in a cycle where nothing is ever enough. Stoicism teaches us that emotional manipulation thrives when we react with guilt or fear. The key is to stop reacting. By setting boundaries, you take back control of your life and protect your energy. You're not being cold, you're being wise. You're protecting yourself from a person who only wants to drain you. Finally, we have the evil and cruel. These are the people who intentionally hurt others for their own gain. They do not care about your feelings, or anyone else's for that matter. They are driven by a desire for power, control, and dominance. And they will step on anyone to get what they want. The cruel person is not looking for help or redemption. They are looking for validation to continue their harmful behaviors. The Stoics understood that true compassion should never come at the expense of your own well-being or the well-being of others. By continuing to help someone who is intentionally causing harm, you're enabling their destructive behavior. The most powerful thing you can do in these situations is step away and allow them to face the consequences of their actions. It's not about being cruel. It's about refusing to engage in the darkness they are creating. So what's the solution? How do you protect yourself from these people? It all comes down to understanding when to step back. Stoicism teaches us that we must focus on what is within our control, our actions, our responses, our boundaries. You cannot change someone who isn't ready to change, but you can choose how much energy you invest in them. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to walk away and let them face the consequences of their choices. By protecting your peace, you allow them the opportunity to learn and grow on their own. Without enabling their harmful behavior, you're not abandoning them. You're giving them the space to change if they ever choose to. If this message resonates with you and you're ready to start protecting your peace and investing in your own growth, I invite you to subscribe to Pure Stoic Practice. Turn on the notification bell so you can stay updated with the latest content. We'll continue to explore Stoic wisdom and practical strategies to help you live a life of clarity, peace, and purpose. The chronically lazy, enabling dependency. The chronically lazy person, though often the hardest to confront, presents one of the most significant challenges when it comes to protecting your energy and well-being. You've likely encountered them, those individuals who are always complaining about their circumstances, explaining how life never seems to work out for them, and yet when you look closer, you find they're not actually doing anything to improve their situation. They speak endlessly about how difficult things are, how much they wish for change. But when you offer support or practical advice, they fail to take the necessary steps to change. They remain stagnant, locked in a cycle of self-pity, unwilling or unable to take responsibility for their actions. It's tempting, isn't it, to feel a sense of duty, to believe that if you just keep giving, if you just help them one more time, they'll finally take that step toward growth. You might even feel guilty for not helping them, as if somehow it's your responsibility to make things better for them. But here's the hard truth. The more you give to someone who isn't willing to help themselves, the more you enable their inaction. The lazy person, much like a sponge, absorbs your energy, your time, your resources, yet they never change. They never take that first step towards self-improvement, and no amount of your assistance will force them to. Helping someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own life isn't an act of kindness. It's an act of enabling their laziness, their dependence. They won't thank you for it. They'll only expect more. Their lack of effort becomes your burden, and with each act of kindness, you feed their entitlement and their dependence. You may feel like you're doing something noble, something compassionate, but in reality, you're just holding them in place, preventing them from experiencing the discomfort they need in order to grow. The Stoics have a powerful lesson for us here. They teach that we can't change others. We can offer guidance, we can lend a hand, but ultimately each person must take responsibility for their own journey. Stoic philosophy urges us to focus on what is within our control, our actions, our thoughts, our responses, but not the actions of others. It's not our job to fix them. By trying to change someone who isn't ready to change, we lose sight of our own purpose and values. We start to expend energy that could be better invested elsewhere, perhaps in our own growth or in helping those who are genuinely ready to take responsibility for their lives. Let's take a moment to consider the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This is a powerful reminder that our actions speak louder than our words. We can't force someone to be the person we want them to be. We can only lead by example and take responsibility for our own actions. Sometimes, being a good person means knowing when to stop giving, when to let someone else stand on their own 2 feet, even if it's uncomfortable to watch them stumble. Now, think about the long-term impact of enabling someone's laziness. By constantly stepping in to help someone who refuses to help themselves, you're not doing them a favor. You're holding them back. You're preventing them from experiencing the consequences of their inaction, which are often the very things that could motivate them to change. In fact, if you keep stepping in, you may inadvertently rob them of the opportunity to learn and grow. It's a hard lesson, one that goes against the instinct to help those in need. But true compassion doesn't always look like giving more. Sometimes it looks like stepping back. It's about having the wisdom to know when your help is actually hindering someone's growth. We all need to experience discomfort and failure in order to learn and grow. Without it, there's no change, no progress. By protecting yourself from the energy drain of chronic laziness, you make room for your own growth. And potentially, you provide the space for the other person to realize they must change if they want to move forward. The Stoic principle of premeditatio malorum, or the contemplation of potential misfortunes, is helpful here. When we think about the future consequences of our actions or inaction, we begin to realize that protecting our peace and our energy is crucial. Every time we enable someone's laziness, we are not only preventing them from facing the consequences of their own choices, but we are also inviting more chaos and negativity into our own lives. Stoicism teaches us that we should not allow our peace to be disturbed by the actions of others. By choosing to stop enabling the chronically lazy, we free ourselves from their emotional burden, and in turn, we make space for healthier, more productive relationships. The toughest part of this process is realizing that, at some point, you can no longer hold someone else's weight. You can't carry their burden indefinitely without sacrificing your own well-being. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for someone is to let them hit rock bottom. Not because you don't care, but because you recognize that their growth depends on them facing the consequences of their actions. When you stop enabling their laziness, you provide them with the greatest gift you can offer: the chance to take a responsibility for their life and their actions. It's easy to feel like walking away is cruel or heartless, but in reality, it's the most compassionate thing you can do. Letting someone fall and face the consequences of their inaction is often the only way for them to realize that they must change if they want to move forward in life. And while it's difficult to watch someone struggle, remember that we all grow through adversity. We learn by experiencing the consequences of our choices, not by having someone else fix our problems for us. The most profound way we can show kindness to the chronically lazy is not by stepping in and doing the work for them, but by stepping back and allowing them to experience the discomfort and struggle that comes with personal responsibility. It's in these moments of hardship that they may finally find the motivation to change. So the next time you find yourself feeling drained by someone's chronic laziness, ask yourself, is my help really helping? Or is it simply postponing the inevitable? Am I enabling them to stay stuck in their cycle of inaction, or am I giving them the space to grow? The Stoic approach isn't easy. It demands tough decisions, the courage to walk away, and the wisdom to understand when your help isn't actually helping. But by embracing this wisdom, you protect your energy, your peace, and most importantly, your own growth. Remember, you can't force someone to change, but you can choose to stop enabling their laziness. You can choose to invest your energy in people who are ready to rise, who are willing to take responsibility for their own lives. The Stoic way isn't about saving everyone. It's about knowing when to step back, protect yourself, and trust that others will rise or fall on their own. Let go of the burden and free yourself to live your own life with purpose and clarity. The ungrateful, the endless cycle of entitlement. The ungrateful are among the most challenging individuals to deal with, and they can easily drain your emotional energy. At first, when you offer help to someone, they may seem thankful, appreciative even, as if your support means everything to them. But over time, you begin to realize that no matter how much you give, it's never enough. Their gratitude fades, and they begin to expect more. It's as though the more you offer, the more they take, until they have drained you dry. These individuals never truly appreciate what you've done for them. And eventually they come to see your kindness not as a gift, but as an entitlement. They feel that you owe them, and they become upset or angry when you can't meet their ever-increasing demands. The danger here is that you begin to feel guilty. After all, you've given so much, and yet it's never appreciated. It's easy to think, if I just give a little more, they'll finally see how much I care. But this mindset is a trap. The more you give to someone who is ungrateful, the more you enable their sense of entitlement. The more they take, the less they value what you offer. They begin to see your help as something they deserve, rather than something you freely give. And over time, this dynamic wears you down, leaving you emotionally exhausted and drained. At its core, the issue with the ungrateful is that they never recognize the value of what's being given to them. Whether it's your time, your energy, your love, or your resources, they take it all without ever fully understanding the sacrifice involved. And when you finally reach your limit and can no longer give, they turn on you. They accuse you of being selfish, of not caring enough, or not being there for them when they needed you. The truth is, they don't care about you, they care about what you can do for them. They've never truly valued you as a person, only as a source of support. This is where the Stoic wisdom becomes so vital. Stoicism teaches us that true kindness is not about endless giving. It's about knowing when to stop, when to say no, and when to protect ourselves. The Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, understood that our resources, be it time, energy, or emotional investment, are finite. And so, it's crucial to choose wisely where and to whom we give them. We are not obligated to give to anyone who takes without appreciating what we do. Our kindness should be a gift, not a transaction. It should not be used as a tool to feed someone else's sense of entitlement or to validate their inability to appreciate what they have. True kindness, as the Stoics teach, requires us to set boundaries. It requires us to protect our own emotional energy and recognize that we cannot be there for everyone. The ungrateful will always want more, but there comes a point when we must recognize that their needs will never end. There will always be something else they want from you, and no matter how much you give, it will never be enough. This is not a reflection of you or your worth. It's a reflection of their inability to value what is being offered. It's a reflection of their inability to see the value in the relationships they have, and their dependence on others to fill an emotional void they refuse to address themselves. When we continue to give to the ungrateful, we are not helping them. We are enabling their dependence. We teach them that their needs will always be met by someone else, that they don't have to appreciate what they have because someone will always be there to give more. And in doing so, we prevent them from learning the lesson of self-reliance. We prevent them from developing the capacity to appreciate what they have and to take responsibility for their own emotional and personal growth. We keep them in a state of immaturity, where they are perpetually dependent on others to fill their needs. The painful truth is that when you give endlessly to the ungrateful, you're not only depleting your own energy, you're depriving them of an important lesson, the lesson of self-reliance, gratitude, and personal responsibility. The more you give, the more they will take, and they will never grow. They will never learn to appreciate what they have because they have never had to earn it. They will always expect more from you, and when you stop giving, they will accuse you of not caring. In their eyes, you will always be the person who failed them, rather than the person who gave them everything they could. In these situations, it's essential to recognize that the most loving thing you can do is to stop giving. It's not about being selfish. It's about protecting your own peace and emotional well-being. It's about understanding that your kindness is a gift, not a guarantee. By continuing to give to someone who is ungrateful, you are not doing them a favor. You're not helping them. You're feeding their entitlement. And as difficult as it may be, stepping away from this cycle is not only a way to protect yourself, but it's also a way to teach them that they must take responsibility for their own lives. The Stoics understood that true compassion is not about endlessly sacrificing oneself for others. It's about understanding when your resources are being misused and choosing to protect your own well-being. It's about understanding that you cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. By stepping back from the ungrateful, you teach them a valuable lesson in independence, responsibility, and appreciation. You show them that their actions have consequences, that they cannot always rely on others to meet their needs, and that they must learn to take responsibility for their own happiness. When we walk away from the ungrateful, we are not abandoning them. We are simply refusing to participate in a relationship where our efforts are not being valued. We are setting a boundary, protecting our emotional energy, and making space for relationships where our kindness is appreciated. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when we care about someone. But the truth is, if someone is not able to appreciate what you're giving, they are not the right person for you to invest your emotional energy in. By walking away, you allow both yourself and the other person to grow. You give them the chance to experience the consequences of their entitlement, and you give yourself the chance to preserve your own peace. You allow them to learn the lessons they need to learn, and you stop enabling the cycle of ungratefulness. In doing so, you not only protect your own well-being, but also give them the opportunity to become better people, people who can appreciate and value the gifts that others offer, instead of taking them for granted. The Stoic approach is not about walking away from everyone who demands your help, but about knowing when your help is truly needed and when it's being misused. It's about recognizing that your emotional energy is a precious resource and that you cannot afford to waste it on those who will never value it. When you learn to set boundaries and walk away from the ungrateful, you free yourself to invest in relationships where your kindness is returned with respect and appreciation. So the next time you find yourself giving endlessly to someone who never seems to appreciate it, ask yourself, am I helping them or am I enabling them? If the answer is the latter, it's time to step back, protect your energy, and give them the space to learn and grow on their own. True kindness isn't about giving everything you have. It's about knowing when to protect yourself, when to set boundaries, and when to let go of relationships that drain you. The arrogant wasted wisdom on closed minds. The arrogant person is perhaps one of the most difficult individuals to deal with. At first glance, their confidence may seem like a virtue, a sign of strength, conviction, and clarity. But beneath the surface, their arrogance is nothing more than a mask, hiding deep insecurity and a refusal to grow. These individuals reject help, not because they don't need it, but because accepting help would mean admitting weakness. They are convinced they know it all, that they have all the answers, and they are often unwilling to even entertain the possibility that someone else might have a better perspective or offer useful advice. The arrogance they display is not born of true confidence, but of a fragile ego that is terrified of being proven wrong. When you offer advice to the arrogant, they do not listen. They do not seek wisdom. They seek validation. They do not want guidance. They want to be affirmed in their own beliefs, no matter how misguided. You could present the clearest, most logical argument, and yet they will push back, dismissing it without consideration. Their walls are high, and no amount of reason or compassion can break them down. Instead of seeing your help as a gift, they view it as an attack on their pride. The more you try to convince them, the more entrenched they become in their own views, reinforcing their belief that they are always right. The most frustrating part of dealing with the arrogant is that no matter how much you care about them, no matter how much you want to help them avoid mistakes, they won't let you. They dig their heels in, constantly rejecting what you offer. They don't want to learn. They just want to prove that they are right, that they are superior. And no matter how many times they fail, they will never admit they were wrong. Instead, they will blame everyone else for their failures, never taking responsibility for their actions. It's a maddening cycle of denial, pride, and self-deception. At some point, you may begin to realize that all of your efforts to help the arrogant are in vain. You may want to shout at them, to make them see reason, to wake them up to the reality that they are making a mistake. But no matter how much you push, no matter how many truths you speak, they will resist. They don't want to hear it, and they never will. At least, not until they are ready. The truth is, the arrogant person cannot be helped until they are willing to acknowledge their own limitations. They cannot change unless they recognize that they do not have all the answers, that their perspective is incomplete, and that growth is a lifelong process. In the wisdom of Stoicism, we are reminded that there is no value in trying to convince someone who refuses to listen. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we cannot control the actions of others. We can offer guidance, but if someone is not open to it, then our efforts will be wasted. The Stoics understood the importance of focusing our energy on what is within our control. We cannot change the arrogant person's mind, but we can control how we respond to them. We can choose to stop engaging in futile debates, to stop wasting our time and energy on someone who is not ready to listen. It's difficult, of course. It's hard to watch someone you care about make mistakes that you know could be avoided. It's painful to see them go down a path of self-destruction, all because they refuse to open their eyes to the truth. But as the Stoics teach, there is wisdom in stepping back and allowing others to face the consequences of their actions. The arrogant person will not learn from your advice, but they might learn from their own failures. They might find the humility they need only after they've been knocked down a few times by life. And when they do, they will remember the wisdom you tried to share with them. But by that point, it may be too late for you to make a difference. Stoicism encourages us to accept that not everyone is ready for growth, and that's okay. It is not our job to force others to change. We are not responsible for their personal development, only our own. We must learn to recognize when to stop pushing, when to let go, and when to allow others to find their own way. This is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-preservation and wisdom. By stepping away from the arrogant, we allow them the space they need to fall and learn. It may be a painful process, but it is a necessary one. The Stoics taught that adversity is often the best teacher, and sometimes the only way someone will learn is through their own mistakes. It is important to remember that the arrogant person is not a lost cause. They are simply not ready to change. The worst thing you can do is waste your energy on someone who refuses to grow. Instead, invest your energy in those who are open to learning, those who are willing to admit they don't have all the answers. Your wisdom, your knowledge, your support, it all has value, but it can only help those who are willing to accept it. When you focus your attention on those who are ready to learn, you will find that your efforts are more fruitful and fulfilling. The act of walking away from the arrogant may feel like giving up on them, but it's actually one of the most loving things you can do. You are freeing yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to convince someone who isn't ready to listen. You are protecting your own peace, and you are giving them the chance to learn on their own terms. The arrogant person may never appreciate your wisdom, but when they face the consequences of their own choices, they may finally understand the truth you tried to share with them. The Stoics believed that we should never waste our energy on things we cannot control. Trying to change the arrogant person is one of those things. We cannot force them to change, but we can choose how we respond. By stepping back, we conserve our energy and protect our peace. We allow the arrogant person the space to fall, to fail, and to learn. It's not our responsibility to teach them. It's their responsibility to learn from life's lessons. In the end, the most powerful thing you can do for the arrogant person is to stop engaging in their resistance. Let them fall. Let them experience the consequences of their action, and let them learn in their own time. Your wisdom will be wasted on them if they are not ready to listen. But when they finally do listen, they will remember the lessons you tried to teach them. Until then, focus your energy on those who are open to growth, those who are willing to listen, and those who are ready to embrace the wisdom you have to offer. Let the arrogant figure things out on their own, for it is only then that they will truly learn and grow. The manipulators, evil and cruel. Protecting yourself from emotional vampires, dealing with manipulators, is one of the most emotionally taxing experiences a person can go through. These individuals are masters of control, but not through force. They do not rely on physical power or intimidation. Instead, they wield a far more subtle weapon: your emotions. A manipulator knows exactly how to push your buttons, how to make you feel guilty, how to make you believe that you are the one who is responsible for their pain. They will use your empathy against you, drawing on your desire to help, your natural instinct to nurture and care for others. And before you know it, you're caught in a cycle where their needs seem endless, and no matter how much you give, it's never enough. The manipulator's game is an insidious one. They will make you feel as though you're the hero, the savior. They will create a false narrative in which they are the victim, and you are the only person who can rescue them. It is a strategy of emotional manipulation that is designed to make you feel indispensable, to make you believe that you are the only one who can solve their problems. And as you start to believe this, you begin to give your time, your energy, your resources. They ask for more and more, and just when you feel like you've given all you can, they ask for more again. At first, it feels like you're helping. After all, you want to be there for them. You want to be the person who can make a difference, who can offer support when they need it. But over time, the truth becomes undeniable. You are not helping them. You are feeding their sense of dependency. You are reinforcing their belief that they can't survive without you. The manipulator thrives on this dependency. The more you give, the more they take. They know exactly how to draw you in, to make you feel guilty when you set boundaries, to make you question your own sense of right and wrong. And you, exhausted and emotionally drained, continue to give, all while feeling like you have no choice. What makes manipulators so dangerous is not just their ability to manipulate your emotions. It's the toll they take on your sense of self. They make you doubt yourself. They convince you that you are responsible for their happiness, for their well-being, for solving their problems. They twist your words, distort your intention, and make you question whether you are doing enough. Over time, you begin to lose sight of your own needs, your own desires, and your own well-being. You become so focused on pleasing them, on meeting their demands, that you forget to take care of yourself. The cycle is exhausting, and it often feels impossible to break. Every time you try to assert yourself, to say no, to set a boundary, the manipulator turns up the pressure. They might play the victim, they might cry, they might accuse you of not caring. They will twist every action you take into something that reflects poorly on you, making you feel as though you are the one in the wrong. And it's in these moments of emotional vulnerability that they make their next move, drawing you back into the cycle of giving. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes essential. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control the behavior of others, but we can control our own responses. Manipulators rely on your emotional reactions to get what they want. The more you react, the more power you give them. The Stoics would advise us to stop reacting to their manipulations, to detach ourselves emotionally from their tactics. When we stop giving them the emotional fuel they need to thrive, we take back control. We refuse to be puppets in their game. And when we refuse to engage in their emotional chaos, we stop feeding their need for validation and control. The greatest strength in dealing with manipulators is not in trying to convince them to change or trying to fix their problems. The greatest strength is in setting boundaries. It's about recognizing when their behavior is toxic and refusing to engage with it. It's about understanding that your emotional energy is a precious resource, and you cannot afford to let someone else drain it. When you set boundaries with a manipulator, they will push back. They will make you feel guilty. They will accuse you of being selfish, but the key is to stay firm. You cannot give in to their demands. You cannot allow them to make you feel responsible for their emotions. The Stoics remind us that we can't choose the circumstances of our lives, but we can always choose how we respond to them. And in this case, our response must be one of self-preservation. One of the most difficult aspects of dealing with manipulators is the guilt. You may feel like you're abandoning them, like you're not being the compassionate person you believe yourself to be. You might even wonder if you're being too harsh. But the truth is, you are not abandoning them. You are protecting yourself. You are not walking away from someone who is in pain. You are walking away from someone who is using your pain to further their own agenda. It's a painful reality to face, but it is essential to recognize that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you continue to give to a manipulator, you will eventually have nothing left for yourself. And when you have nothing left for yourself, you will be unable to help anyone, including them. By stepping back, by setting boundaries, you teach them that they cannot rely on you to fix their problems. You teach them that they are responsible for their own emotional state, their own happiness, and their own lives. You are not being cruel, you are being wise. You're allowing them to face the consequences of their actions and to find their own way. It is only by stepping away that you can break the cycle of manipulation and begin to take back control of your own life. In conclusion, manipulators are emotional vampires, feeding off your energy and leaving you drained and depleted. The best way to protect yourself from them is to stop reacting to their tactics, to set firm boundaries, and to refuse to give them the power to control your emotions. When you do this, you free yourself from their grasp and allow them to face the consequences of their actions. By doing so, you not only protect your own peace, but you also give them the opportunity to grow, to take responsibility for their own lives, and to learn that their manipulation will no longer work. If this message resonates with you and you want to continue learning how to protect your energy and embrace Stoic wisdom, please subscribe to Pure Stoic Practice. Leave a comment with your thoughts, experiences, or any questions you might have. Your engagement helps our community grow, and together, we can learn how to live with greater peace, purpose, and wisdom. Thank you for your support, and remember, you are the guardian of your own energy. Protect it fiercely.